What's going on? What's going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So good to see you. Welcome to drboystv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and today I'm going to talk about Michael Irvin. Today is Super Bowl Sunday, and there is some Super Bowl sadness or Super Bowl racism that I think is taking place right now with Michael Irvin, who is a great commentator, former Dallas Cowboy, who has been pretty much chopped off the Super Bowl coverage over some BS, over some nonsense, over what I think is a false accusation. And I'm going to talk to you guys about this, about what it means to be black and false accusations and how they affect us. So get comfortable, buckle up a seatbelt. We're going to get started on drboystv.com right now.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboystv.com, the home for intelligent black people. What's up, Marcus Mosley? How you doing, brother? Good to see you again, man. Jermaine Trusty from Camden, New Jersey. Shout out the city you're from. Let me know what city you're from. And also let me know if you can hear me and see me okay. Give me a yes if you can hear me and see me okay, because sometimes my audio is a little bit weird. New Haven, Indiana for Marcus. Very cool. Elijah Cox from Baltimore. Daryl Lee, B1 to you. B1 means black first. It means we put our community at the top of our priority list. What's going on, everybody? All right, so today is Super Bowl Sunday. How many of you are about to watch the Super Bowl? Give me a yes if you're going to watch the Super Bowl, and feel free to tell me what team you're cheering for, what team you think is going to win. I'm going to make my Super Bowl prediction. My Super Bowl prediction is that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to smack the snot out of Kansas City. I have watched the Eagles play all year. I'm a big football fan, and I just believe the Eagles are just that team this year. I think, but one of my friends said, well, it depends on if Patrick Mahomes is healthy or not. I said, hey, Patrick Mahomes could be at 110%. And them boys with the Eagles are not playing. They're going to still take that Super Bowl from him, in my opinion. I think the Eagles, my money is on the Eagles. And speaking of putting your money on stuff, I did a little conversation today to warn you that a lot of black men are being used for gambling ads right now. I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but you've seen Jamie Foxx doing ads for I think it's Bet MGM, if I'm not mistaken. You saw Kevin Hart doing ads for DraftKings. You saw what's his name, JB Smoove doing ads for Caesars. And here's what's going on, right? And this is a big money thing. If you're an investor, you want to pay attention. A lot of legalized gambling has taken place, which has opened the economic floodgates for these casinos. And what they're doing is they are advertising heavily to black men the same way they advertise everything that's unhealthy. They advertise that to black men. In hip hop music, they advertise drug addiction to you because they want you to be a bunch of drug addicts. Jay-Z and Diddy are selling liquor to you because they want you to be an alcoholic like your drunk ass Uncle Willie. You know, I don't know if anybody else have some drunk ass uncles in your family where you're like, man, you could have been great, but you decided that you wanted to focus on the liquor bottle your whole life. I don't know if anybody else ever dealt with that, but I did. They also promote unhealthy food. A lot of fast food gets promoted in black communities. Now, here's the deal. I want to make it clear. I'm not telling you not to bet on the game. I mean, you can bet. I told y'all I bet. I made a bet. I bet on the Eagles. I believe the Eagles are going to win. I put real money on it. But at the same time, everything has to be done in moderation. Give me a yes if you understand what I'm saying. Everything must be done in moderation. Be very careful, because if you ever want to lose all your money, if you ever want to go broke, if you ever want to be in the struggle, if you ever want your life to be jacked up, get an addiction. Get an addiction. If you ever want to be a loser, go get addicted to something. Go get hooked on crack. Remember, Ice Cube used to talk about the dope dealer didn't get high on his own supply. But remember, anybody remember his song "Dope Man" when he said, "If you smoke cane, you a stupid mother." Remember that? Remember he said that, right? Because if you ever want to lose economically, go get an addiction. Get addicted to drugs. Get addicted to liquor. where you're living in the liquor bottle and all your ambition is taken out of your body. Get addicted to some of this synthetic weed they got out here that's literally designed to destroy brain cells that you'll never get back. I'm not saying you shouldn't smoke. I'm just saying just be careful because they put stuff in the stuff you're smoking. You just got to watch out for that. Get a gambling addiction. If you ever want to go broke, get a gambling addiction because that is like a financial black hole. You will sink into that hole and never be able to get out. So I'm just telling you, if you want to participate in that whole gambling space, go do it. I'm not telling you not to do it. I told you I made a bet on the Eagles myself. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite today. I'm just letting you know to be mindful about moderation because this stuff will destroy you. The capitalism, if you don't watch it, it will destroy you. Okay. So I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. All right. So Mr. Michael Irvin. All right. So Michael Irvin, jumped on my radar. As you know, Michael Irvin is a pretty good commentator. He's also, he was an extraordinary football player. He played for the Dallas Cowboys. I grew up as a Cowboys fan, so I follow Michael Irvin quite a bit. And I saw that Michael Irvin was in the middle of just a really stupid situation. Anybody, give me a yes if you saw this whole scenario with Michael Irvin and why Michael Irvin was removed from the Super Bowl coverage. Did anybody else see that? So Michael Irvin was basically booted out of Super Bowl coverage because he was accused of something that allegedly happened at a Marriott hotel. And the thing is that there's no evidence, there's no smoking gun, there's nothing anywhere that anybody has that proves that he did anything wrong. Right now, so you know, it's that part's weird right there, right? It's like, okay, if you're accusing me of something, show me something, show me some videotape, show me, give me a recording, give me something to show me that he did this. And I mean, because don't get me wrong, Michael Irvin don't have no, you know, he does not have a picture perfect pass. Michael Irvin, you know, I think there might have been something maybe with some drugs or something at one point, but either way though, you know, there's nothing there, right? And so as a result of this accusation, the NFL just took him off of all Super Bowl coverage, just said, we don't want no accused Negroes anywhere on our television network. So we're just going to drop this dude because he might have done something. He might have done something. And that really bothers me because that makes me feel awfully black. Right? Like they always tell you about, well, watch out, you know, protect your, have the talk with your sons about the dealing with the police and all that. And don't get me wrong, that talk is necessary, right? Don't have your son acting crazy with no cops or getting in silly situations because some of these cops will pull out a gun and shoot your child if your child's acting a damn fool or whatever. Maybe even if he's not acting a fool. But the other talk you got to have with your son is about how the rest of the world reacts when it comes to a black man. That you live in a world where black men can be accused of damn near anything and people will believe it because he's black. And what happens is they will issue the punishment and then later on, 3 years later, try to figure out if he actually did it. They will literally punish first and ask questions later. So your son, if he gets accused of stealing on the job, they'll fire him first and then find out if he was the actual thief later on. And this is a direct fundamental violation of the so-called principles of American justice. Justice ain't supposed to work this way. Justice is supposed to be innocent till proven guilty. Well, if you are a black man, you're pretty much guilty till proven innocent. So if you hit the thumbs up button, I'm going to read some of this story to you about Michael Irvin. And I want to relate this back to the fact that America ain't a damn thing changed in America. You know, you walk around here thinking that we've achieved some sort of racial justice and racial equality, and you want to go hang out with all these folks that don't like your black ass, and then you find out the hard way because you messed around and you found out. You keep messing around, you're gonna find out that America ain't the beautiful country that you want it to be. All right, so let me read this to you. So it says that NFL commentator Michael Irvin has reportedly filed a lawsuit against the woman who complained about his behavior during an encounter at a hotel in Arizona. So apparently he offended a woman or something. I don't know if she's white or not. I have no idea who this lady is. Because she's the victim. So because she's the victim, right? Because clearly he must be the perpetrator because he's the black male. So she's the victim. They don't release the names of victims because victims names shouldn't be released because it's not very nice to be. That's what they do. That's what they do. They get all powder puffy sweet when it comes to women, particularly white women. And then, but if you're a black man and you get accused, your name's all over the newspaper. Your reputation goes in the toilet. You're done. Right? This should be very offensive to you. This should absolutely positively make us very upset. right? So in fact, I'm gonna take my jacket off. This is the shirt. I made the shirt. The shirt says "Because we're black." This is in the Boyce Watkins collection. Actually, if you go to wokeblacktees.com, that's where my t-shirts are. And it's like, because you're black, the rules change, and because we're black, we know that it's just a different reality. So Michael Irvin is suing, and he says that he's a victim of cancel culture. He says he's been pulled from ESPN and the NFL Network Super Bowl coverage in the aftermath of the alleged incident, which we don't even know if it happened. There's no evidence from what I understand. As first reports came out, the nature of the woman's allegations were unclear, and local police reportedly had no knowledge of any wrongdoing. So they don't know what he's being accused of. They don't know. The local police have no knowledge of any wrongdoing. It's completely unclear. But yet you were very, very clear when you took his ass off the air. Like, you're engaging in definitively clear actions in a definitively unclear situation. If that's not racism, I don't know what is. That's crazy to me. So they said TMZ Sports claims Irvin is now suing the hotel where he was staying ahead of the Super Bowl and its employees who made the complaint. So apparently there's an employee who made the complaint, which, okay, the news outlet reportedly obtained the lawsuit filed by the NFL Hall of Famer, which reads, rash and thoughtless actions can have severe consequences. Marriott, the parent company of Renaissance Hotels, apparently did not appreciate these simple truths when, in a rush to judgment, its employees and management inaccurately and inflammatorily accused Mr. Irvin of misconduct to the NFL. So they reported, so she told the management told the NFL then takes Michael off the air. This is apparently what occurred here with Michael Irvin. According to the lawsuit, witnesses corroborated Irvin's initial claim that he had a friendly conversation with the hotel employee before they shook hands and he went to his room alone. So apparently this person, maybe the complainant is an employee. Irvin and his team reportedly reached out to the hotel chain to rectify any misunderstanding once they became aware of the allegations. However, they claimed the Renaissance refused to listen, and the lawsuit asserts the hotel manager reported the incident to the NFL with the intention of damaging that relationship and canceling Irvin. Irvin's attorney, Levi McCathern, told TMZ his client is suing because of the damage to his reputation as well as the financial loss caused by his canceled TV appearances. Quote, it is clear that Michael is the latest victim of cancel culture, blah, blah, blah. Michael looks forward to clearing his name in court. Okay. All right. So let me give you kind of a take on this, and let me explain to you, this is why I don't work around white people. I don't hate white people. I promise you. If you're white, I have a very nice white neighbor, and we talked for like an hour just now. So some of my nicest friends are white, right? So I do not hate white people. I want to make that, I have to say that because people get scared when I say I can't work around people who are not black, and this is why. When something goes wrong and somebody just decides they want to accuse you of something and you're black, what happens is that you just get treated a lot different from everybody else. They can sort of make you very toxic very quickly. And so you've worked your whole life, you worked your whole entire life to obtain a certain reputation. You know, you've been an honorable citizen, you put in the work, you've been a good corporate team member, done everything right because you falsely were led to believe that if you do the right thing all the time and you work hard, good things are going to happen. So you spent 20 years building a stellar reputation within an organization. And then you run into one asshole. One asshole. That's all. It only takes one. A white asshole has more power to do this, but even a black one can do this to you too. Some of y'all got black. Give me a yes if you've ever had black black fellow employees or a black manager who was damn near as bad as the white folks were, right? So a black person can do this to you too. But somebody comes along and you just have a disagreement. You know, you just tell them about themselves. Maybe you cuss somebody out. Maybe you just tell somebody to go shove it, right? Or I don't want to work with you. Well, next thing that happens is, especially if it's a white female, they can go and say, "Oh my God, I felt so threatened. I felt so intimidated. He's big and he's black and he came and he yelled at me and I just felt I was fearing for my safety." Right? This happens all the time. And what I don't understand is why, as black people, we train our children to be so eager to go work in organizations where they're going to deal with this kind of nonsense for their whole entire life. You didn't do nothing. And I'm not just talking in theoretically here. These are real life people. My wife has gone through that. My wife went through a situation where a lady said she felt threatened by her, or she felt very uncomfortable, and she felt she feared for her safety. And my wife was like, I didn't threaten this lady. I just told her she could shove that nonsense up her ass. Like I didn't think I said I was gonna beat her up after school. There's another black man I know he's a professor, PhD, high levels of education, perfect stellar career, 20-something years, been on this job. And he came to me because he said that there was a white female student who went to report him on a Title IX violation and said that he said something in class that made her uncomfortable. So the crime for a black man is making other people uncomfortable. So because he made this white woman uncomfortable, they had him under investigation for a whole year, which will destroy your reputation. Ain't nobody gonna hire. Think about it. Give me a yes or no if you understand what I'm saying. Ain't nobody gonna hire somebody that's under investigation. You under investigation, you toxic. It's done. It's done. There is an accusation penalty that you experience where just because you've been accused, there's a big drop in your reputational value because people are like, damn, I don't know if he did it or not. And here's the crazy part. When they accused this black man who had spent 20 years building a stellar reputation, they didn't even tell him what he was accused of. And they wouldn't tell him the name of the accuser, because every single one of these rules and laws, like Title IX, things like that, are designed to protect white women. And they're designed to exploit, exterminate, and destroy black men. So you are being accused. They don't even know if you're the victim. You could be the damn victim. If I was a malicious white woman, let me tell you what I would do. If I was a malicious white woman, let's call me Becky Boyce. If I was Becky Boyce, a malicious white woman, you know what I would do? I would go up to some Negro that I wanted something from, and I would say, you better give me what I want, because if I accuse you, you're going down. I'm going to find the scariest accusation I can make, and I'm going to accuse you. And then by the time they spend 2 years destroying your life and investigating you and they'll put you in jail, you'll be just literally a fraction of what you used to be. You'll be done. You'll be wiped out. So you can sit and spend, 3 years fighting these accusations that I can make against you, because me, a white woman's word is like a gold Amex card, right? Her credit is good, right? For some reason, people they used to say this silly thing when the Me Too movement started, like believe all women, which was literally the sickest, weirdest thing I've ever heard. They literally would say that they literally told you that women cannot tell a lie, right? That, like, tell me, give me a yes or no. Can women can lie, right? Do women know how to lie, or am I just tripping? Is something wrong with me? I don't know. Can women lie, ladies? Do y'all ever lie, or do y'all just always tell the truth all the time? Yeah. So this sort of nonsense, this is the kind of stuff that your son is up against when you put your son into corporate America. Like when you train your son to go and go to college and get a job working for some corporation, he might literally do everything right. And if he runs into the wrong person, that person can destroy everything that he's worked for. And let me tell you what that leads to. That leads to mental health problems. That leads to stress. It leads to depression, which can lead to things like alcoholism or drug addiction or other things, coping mechanisms. Do you know how many Negroes I know who literally have to go see a therapist, who are using all kinds of drugs, who are drinking themselves to sleep every night just because of the stress of having to go back into a hostile environment every single day? Do you understand the mental and physical health consequences of being in enemy territory every single day of your life? Do you understand that? Or are you so accustomed to that? Like you're so used to thinking that that's the norm that you don't think there's any other alternative. So I'm going to tell you what the alternative is. The alternative is I don't go in those spaces. I just don't. I will never have the job that Michael Irvin has working for the ESPN network. I won't even apply for the damn job. I don't want the job. Whatever y'all got over there, I don't want none of that, because I understand what happens. I understand when I saw Ime Udoka with the Boston Celtics, where he's sleeping around and sleeping with these women because they're all sleeping with him. And next thing you know, Ime's face is splattered everywhere. His whole life is ruined. His family's destroyed. Nia Long is embarrassed. And they don't even mention the white lady's name because somehow she's the victim. I'm like, how in the hell are you the victim when you was chasing a black man's penis? You ain't a victim of nothing except whatever he got in his pants. And you ain't a victim of that because you wanted that. So what in the hell? How in the hell did we get to a point where consensual behavior amongst adults is seen as something where there is a predator and a victim? There ain't no predator in consensual sex. There is no victim in consensual sex. Stop that. But they create this nonsense because all throughout American history, the black man has been seen as the apex predator of this country, right? That's how you are viewed. That's why TJ Holmes goes to work at Good Morning America, and he's sleeping with Amy Robach, And he's also sleeping with some other ladies there because they all think TJ Holmes is a handsome guy. I don't know TJ well. I only talked to him one time on the phone. He called me one time. I never call these celebrities. They call me. He called me one time about 10 years ago, and we talked on the phone for a while. He seemed like a nice guy. TJ Holmes, good-looking guy, smart guy. All the white women want a piece of that. Next thing you know, TJ Holmes is looking like he's some sort of predator, like somehow he used some sort of Negro voodoo to trick them out of their panties. No, they wanted a piece of him, and God bless them all. I don't care what they do. That's what they do. But the idea that you want to convince me that somehow he's a predator because of that, I just don't believe that. That's not where I come from. So what I'm saying to you is that this is just like par for the course. This happens all the time. The Dallas, speaking of the Dallas Cowboys and Michael Irvin, hit the thumbs up button, by the way. Please hit the thumbs up button. Also, please hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I go live, because sometimes because I talk about this stuff, you get shadow banned and stuff like that. So if you hit the notification bell, that'll increase the likelihood that they'll tell you when I go live, even though I don't know, something weird happens, because I have like over 1 million subscribers on different channels, but for whatever reason, it doesn't go out the way it should. And also my website is boycewatkins.com. So feel free. My new book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, and you can find a copy of the book at boycewatkins.com, or you can also go to drboycebooks.com. So feel free to go take a look. All right. So here's another thing. Speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, anybody know about Ezekiel Elliott? Ezekiel Elliott, I know about Ezekiel because most of my life I was a Cowboys fan. I know you probably feel sorry for me because Cowboys have been terrible for 30 years. And also Ezekiel played for Ohio State, and I got my PhD from Ohio State. So I followed Ezekiel's career for a long time. In fact, I think his father is one of my Facebook followers or friends or something. I didn't even know that. But anyway, he comes from a good family. He seems like a good guy. He seems like a smart kid. Well, Ezekiel got involved with some white woman when he was in college, and the white woman wanted his attention, and he didn't want to give it to her. And so one of the things that she did was she was banging on his door outside of a party, and he wouldn't let her in. And she got so mad that he wouldn't let her in, and people overheard her saying, "I'm a white woman. I can accuse you of anything, and I can destroy your whole career." She literally said that. You can go Google this and look this up. These are the types of things that happen. These are the types of stressors that these guys are dealing with. Now, mind you, I'm the type of daddy that would say, don't go messing with them white girls. Like, really, I just would do that, but then again, you can't stop people from doing what they want to do. Like, people, love is what it is. I got people in my own family that married, non-black people, and I'm not here to disparage that. I'm not here to attack anybody. Some of them are nice people. But what I'm saying is that when you do that, what's happening is, it's the same way when how they talk about people sleeping together at work, and how if a boss sleeps with someone that works for them, that there's an underlying power dynamic, and somehow that makes it, it's sort of it's a natural process because the women are attracted to the more powerful men, but it is also considered to be a predatory, dangerous process, right? Because there's a power dynamic, right? Anybody heard that, right? Where they say, well, it's a power dynamic, and the reason that the man is at fault is because he has the more powerful job, which is still a bias because women tend to chase after the men that have the most power. So you have to really hold the women responsible. But of course, we don't believe in doing that in our society. We blame everything on men, whatever. Well, the same thing is true when you talk about a black man dating a white woman. Pay attention to this. You talk about the power dynamic, the differences in power. Well, who has more power in society to make an accusation against another person, a black man or a white woman? Answer that for me in the chat. If a black man goes and accuses a white woman of doing something terrible to him, are they going to automatically believe him the way they would if it were the opposite, if she were accusing him of something? Is there not a power dynamic difference between the white female and the black male? Or even the white male and the black female, but more so when we talk about the black male. The white woman is at the top of society. Your black ass is at the bottom. And so when you up here tangling it up with Becky and doing whatever y'all do, you better hope she don't ever get mad at you and decide to accuse you of something, because they will bury your black ass so far under the jail that your mama won't recognize you by the time you come out. You will be sitting up in jail for 30 damn years over some shit you did not do, mad as hell, when you can go back and remember the day that Uncle Boy said, be really careful dating white women. This is literally, I'm talking about literally for your safety. I'm literally saying this for your safety. I, in my life, have never dated a white female. My closest I ever got is my wife, she's high yellow, right? But she's as black as tar on the inside, but she happens to be a little less melanated on the outside. But she grew up in Gary, so that, come on, you don't get no blacker than Gary, Indiana. But my point is to say that Generally speaking, I just think that for your safety, any black man that has any sense is going to think about these things when you're choosing who to hang out with. Because the thing about it is, everything's cool and good. And when you're in a relationship with a woman, there are things that you're allowed to do and say that are going to be okay as long as she's okay with it. But the minute she's not okay with it, these are things that can send you to jail. Like like if you're with your woman and you grab her butt, ain't no big deal. You just, she might chuckle or whatever, right? Because she thinks it's cute. She's like, oh, okay, you feeling it, right? But then grab her butt, like after you break up with her and have her move on. She has a new boyfriend. Now I want you to grab her butt. Oh, you can go to jail for that. Maybe for years for that. Like that will be put in the category of like severe sexual assault. So the point of the matter is that the danger in that sort of relationship is that if the person with the most power gets pissed off at you and doesn't know how to control their emotions, or is unethical, or does something unethical in order to bring you down, then they can literally ruin your life. And this has happened so many times, and I don't understand why black men, while we know this, and we still don't understand the safety that comes with being near black women who care about us. Just go ask Bill Cosby. Anybody want to go ask Mr. Cosby how that feels when you felt so powerful and you're around all these non-black women your whole life, when really you probably should have been a little closer to Camille? Or or even if you were going to do whatever you were doing, maybe do that around some women that are a little more solid, as opposed to the drug addicts who hang out at the Playboy Mansion. I met a guy in LA who was a driver who drove for Hugh Hefner. He drove for Hugh Hefner for many years. He said, I drove for Mr. Hefner back in his heyday. He said, I met Mr. Cosby many times because they would all come out to the Playboy Mansion. He talked about all the celebrities, from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to Wilt Chamberlain, all these guys that would come out to the Playboy Mansion. And he said, if you were to compare the stuff that Hefner did to the stuff that Cosby did, it would be no comparison. He said Hefner did 100 times more than Cosby ever did. And Cosby was always a very nice guy for the most part. Now, I'm not trying to say that he's innocent. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that I think Cosby forgot that there's different standards between black men and white men. And sometimes you just forget that you're black. And if you do that, that's when they're going to come up and remind you that you're black, and then you're going to end up paying a high price for that. Now, anyway, I got one more point I want to make on this. Do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, a reminder, this podcast, you can find this podcast on Spotify if you want to listen on Spotify or Apple. Just look up the Dr. Boyce Breakdown on Spotify, and you can find it there. And also, I'm going on tour with my book. I'm going to do some Black Wealth Bootcamp trainings, 2-day trainings in 6 cities across America. I'll put it on my website. My book is The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. You can also find a copy on Amazon. I don't care if you buy it on Amazon or on my website, but if you do buy it on Amazon, if you could leave a review, I'd appreciate it. So far, all the reviews are pretty much either 4 or 5 stars. So thank you to those of you that are giving the good reviews. And it was something I wanted to create in order to help us achieve our goal of building Black wealth. All right, so the last point I want to make on this is this. There is a story that I saw. This broke my heart, made me sad. I'm an Ohio State Buckeye. You guys know this. Well, that's where I got my PhD. And so because I always act a fool whenever Ohio State almost wins the championship and they don't. But there were 2 brothers that went on trial after they were accused of a serious crime involving a woman. And I'm sharing here on my screen at Yahoo News. And they were just recently acquitted. They were recently acquitted. And let me read this to you, and I'm going to give you my perspective on this. So it says here, 2 former Ohio State football players were acquitted Thursday on charges of rape and kidnapping stemming from a sexual encounter they had with a woman in an apartment the 2 players shared. Amir Riep and Jason Went embraced each other and both cried after the jury verdict was read. So process this for a moment. First off, these are 2 big, strong athletes, big, strong, tough guys. You got to be real tough to play. First of all, you got to be super talented to play at Ohio State. Ohio State's not a joke. Second of all, to take those hits that players take in playing college football, you got to be a real tough guy. So think about this. These guys were so broken down, so beaten down by their experience, in such pain, in such dire, excruciating pain, that they hugged each other and cried. That's how they felt. That's the side that they don't tell you about. That's the side you don't empathize with. They mass market the suffering of white women, but they say nothing about the suffering of black men. They say they'll talk all day about a white woman who got her booty touched and how traumatic that was for her, but they'll say nothing about the black man who got sent to prison on a false accusation and ended up being raped 400 times. Right? They don't talk about that. That's like, oh, well, whatever, man. You should wrong place, wrong time. You made the wrong choice. You shouldn't have been there, right? That's all they'll do. They don't care about that. So I really want you to take a moment to just sort of try to empathize with Black pain. As Black people, you're not trained to see your own pain. You're trained to see the pain of other people. Like when, something happens, there's a tragedy, there's a bombing in France. It's like, you'll see Black people that'll say, like prayers up for France or whatever. Or you'll hear about, or when 9/11, you had a lot of Black people that felt empathy for the victims of 9/11, which we should. But we don't have empathy for ourselves. Like I could tell you all day, I could tell you that 15 little children got shot in Chicago last week. And you're just going about your day. You just keep on going. You don't stop what you're doing. You don't stop to say, gosh, dang it, we got to fix this. Like, this is unbelievable. I got to have a talk with my son, right? I'm serious. Like we'll talk, or even if something's marketed in media, like Tyree Nichols being killed, which is terrible, right? It was a horrible experience. You literally shed a tear for Tyree Nichols, but 1,000 other Black people will have died between Tyree and the last major police shooting. And you didn't have no tears for not one of those people. Like, at what point are you going to accept the idea that Black lives should matter? Then when are you going to decide that Black lives matter? I'm not talking about everybody else. I'm talking about you. When are you going to decide that Black lives matter? Because it don't make no sense. It's illogical. It's completely illogical for you to cry over George Floyd, but not to cry for all the other Black men and women who got killed, many of whom were really in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like some little old lady going to church gets killed by a drunk driver, in the hood, or somebody who gets a little 9-year-old on a bicycle that gets hit by a stray bullet. Like that's going to make me cry before I cry for George Floyd. I'm not saying George Floyd deserved what he got. He didn't deserve what he got, but George Floyd's a grown man. You got in this situation with another dude that y'all had a history and it went bad or whatever, right? Okay, that's bad. I feel it sucks. He deserves to go to jail for that. But I'm feeling a little, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel a little more sadness for the little 9-year-old girl who's riding her bike, who don't even know nothing about evil, who doesn't know what it means to want to even hurt another person, who ain't thinking about nothing. She's thinking about getting some candy from her grandma, and then the bullet, smack, hits her in her head, and she's bleeding to death on the goddamn concrete, and you can't cry for none of that? I think something's wrong with you. I think that's a little bit of that Negroidian programming that they've done to you to get you to be able to ignore a tragedy like that. And so what I'm saying is I'm not telling you what your opinion should be. I'm not telling you that you should agree with me. I'm trying to get you to start having your own conversations. I don't respond to Black conversations that I know for a fact initiated from white-owned media. I don't respond to that. I said, oh, that's the programming. Now they're all crying for this person because CNN gave them permission to cry. Well, I give you permission to cry when the time is appropriate. God gives you permission to cry when the little girl gets killed, even if the media ain't even talking about it. That's when you need to have your own conversations. That's the first step toward true independence. All right, so let me keep going. Let me read a little more of this. So Amir Rep and Jason Witt, and I've cried for both of these guys. Their attorneys argued at trial that the woman had consensual sex with both men, but regretted it afterward. So she's in their apartment. They're all doing whatever. I don't know if the woman's white or Black. I wonder if it's a white girl, to be honest with you. They also accused the victim's father of pushing her and authorities to pursue criminal charges. Give me a yes or no if you've ever heard of a situation like this. This happens. This does happen, where a girl hoses it out, goes to college, and does some stuff that she can't tell daddy about. Let's just say it like that. Does some stuff you can't tell daddy about. Daddy finds out. Next thing you know, she's pressing charges and saying, "No, daddy, I was raped." Like, well, it's just the Black man's life that we're throwing away. And because I don't know if y'all know this, but not to sit here and pretend like Mike Tyson was always a wonderful guy. I don't know this man, but I do remember that I really took notice after the Desiree Washington situation when he went to prison for that. And Desiree Washington's ex-boyfriend, I promise you can Google this. He said, I tried to call the courtroom to tell them that Desiree and I had sex, and she was so ashamed to tell her father that she told her father that I raped her. Like literally, there was a former boyfriend who said this, and I'm like, why wouldn't this be permissible in court? If this person is a proven liar, why wouldn't they at least talk about that? Right. And so this is the system that you're against. This is the bias that you're dealing with. So circling back to Michael Irvin and the accusation, I hope Michael wins his lawsuit. He's a big boy. He can defend himself. I think that it's important to speak up on this on his behalf, not because I know that he didn't do anything wrong for sure. I just haven't seen any evidence of this. But the NFL, shame on the NFL for firing this man when there's no evidence that he did anything wrong. And also remember this, the NFL, NFL's on a bunch of racial BS. There's a lot of racism in the NFL that you won't even pay attention to. A lot of people, for example, are caught up in the fact that there's 2 black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. Now, 75% of you, I took a poll, 75% of you believe Patrick Mahomes is black. 25% of you don't feel like he's black because he's got the white mama and the white wife and the half white kids. So I don't care, whatever, right? But they've been talking a lot about having 2 black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl, and I think that's fine. I don't care about that, to be honest with you. We've even had 2 black coaches in the Super Bowl. I want to know when we're going to have 2 black owners in the Super Bowl. Like, show me 2 teams. Show me where the Chiefs and the Eagles are owned by a black family, and then maybe that's some progress. Remember that the NFL is kind of a big old plantation. It's like, okay, who's Negroes? I own a pack of Negroes who are probably faster and stronger than the pack of Negroes that you own, and we're gonna let them bang each other's heads off and give each other brain damage until a winner emerges, and then we get to take bragging rights. Remember, with the NFL, you have a lot of symbolism and tokenism, right? So you've got the whole black quarterback thing, which I don't care about. And then you've got Jay-Z, who's sitting over there with some stupid job that he's got where he was supposed to do something related to racial justice, but really seems like they just made him the entertainment director for the Super Bowl because a lot of his artists have been performing at the Super Bowl. Then you got Rihanna going up there. She's talented. She's beautiful. But you got black entertainers. You've always had black athletes and black entertainers since forever. You've always had Negroes on a pedestal who were performing in front of white people and getting lots of money. Great. Whoop-de-doo. Good for them. What you have never had is you've never had any deep infrastructural black ownership and control of any major entity that exists in this country that I can think of, especially not in professional sports. Remember, you once owned the entire league. You owned the entire Negro leagues. The whole league was yours. You didn't try to go like you do with the NFL and beg them to let you own 2% of the team. Can we please, master, just buy 2% of the Denver Broncos? Or I want 4% of the Baltimore Ravens. Right? You didn't have to do all that because you own the whole league. And then not only did you own the whole league, but you own the whole economic infrastructure that exists around the league. See, y'all don't understand. Y'all think that the Super Bowl is being played on the field. You think the Super Bowl is being played on the field. The Super Bowl is not being played on the field. The real Super Bowl is happening off the field. The economic multi-billion-dollar Super Bowl is happening with all of the thousands of businesses that are making money off of this game. It is the massive economic spectacle that occurs every time you get 100 million people watching the same damn show. It's the fact that every Super Bowl ad costs $7 million for a 30-second ad. There's approximately 150 ads, if I'm not mistaken, run during the Super Bowl. That's like almost $1 billion worth of ad revenue that's coming in because of all the companies that are trying to write gigantic checks just to run a Super Bowl ad. The real Super Bowl is happening off the field where you've got thousands of businesses that are making money, like doing all the stuff that is required to even host an event that's that big. The major media outlets, the major corporations that are doing all the sponsorship and I'm just talking about the TV ads. I'm not talking about all the digital advertising and the streaming service deals, the multi-billion-dollar deals with companies like Amazon and Hulu or whatever that are competing for the broadcast rights for these games. That's the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, the real Super Bowl, ain't got nothing to do with Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. It ain't got nothing to do with anything that's happening on the field. That's just the spectacle designed to get your attention so they can get the real money, the real bag out the back of the door. You had that with the Negro Leagues. In the Negro Leagues, you had 2 things that you don't have now, that you'll never have again until you elevate your thinking. Number 1, you had the best athletes on the planet in your possession, in your control. Number 2, you owned the actual infrastructure of the entity that was going to bring these athletes together and draw all that attention to generate all that wealth. You owned all of that. You owned all of that. And I don't know if you're ever going to get it back, but I know that I applaud the visionary white folks who bought the Green Bay Packers for $50 100 years ago. I applaud the Hallis family who made a $100 investment to buy this team called the Chicago Bears. I applaud them. I applaud Jerry Jones' racist ass who raised $150 million and went and bought the Dallas Cowboys 40 years ago, and now that team's worth $8.5 billion. I applaud all of that. I'm not mad at none of that. I'm not even mad at Jerry Jones and his racist ass. Jerry Jones, as far as I'm concerned, is showing you what real power looks like. Jerry Jones is showing you the difference between being Jerry Jones and being Kyrie Irving. When you are Kyrie Irving, they can beat you, they can spank you, they can punish you, they can suspend you, they can take your check, they can suspend you without pay. When you're Jerry Jones, they can't do nothing to you. They did nothing to this man. This man was caught red-handed in a picture blocking black children from entering his school, like with the Little Rock Nine or whatever it was. And Jerry Jones doesn't care because you don't even know what power actually looks like. Power is not dancing in the end zone. Power is when you own the building where the owner's box is located. Like, power is quiet, right? There's a billionaire, Mike Roberts. I'm going to end on this point because we got to go watch the Super Bowl. Mike Roberts, who's a billionaire out of St. Louis, came on this channel, and he said something really interesting. He said, rich people are loud. He said, but wealthy people whisper. Wealthy people whisper. You got a lot of loud Negroes out here, a lot of rich, loud Negroes, a lot of your rappers like, look at me now, loud and ridiculous, and they got no power. The people that are controlling those puppets are the people in the back that are whispering about who they're going to give the power to next. So we got to learn how to play the game of power. Shout out to Dr. Claude Anderson for teaching us that. His book is called Powernomics. Everybody should get a copy. You can go to powernomics.com if you'd like to take a look at that. All right, everybody. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Have a good night. I hope this was a good conversation for you. I hope you benefited from it. Also, just quick reminder, I do have a book series called Black American Money. You can feel free to go take a look. Just go to drboycebooks.com. That's drboycebooks.com. There is a presentation I did called How to Make Money Without Working. You can take a look at that at boycewatkins.com. It's right there at the top. So if you get done with the Super Bowl and you want to do something different, feel free to go to my website. There's plenty of free stuff up there. And if you could hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe on your way out, I'd appreciate it. And I will see you guys soon. Take care and God bless you. And go Eagles. I got my money on the Eagles, y'all. So maybe I'll be cheering later or maybe I'll be sad. I'll let you know how it goes. Talk to you later. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.